In my line of work, I noticed that less is more. So whether it's massage, energy work, or craniosacral therapy, less pressure shows better and faster and more results. So in this video, I'm going to specifically talk about craniosacral therapy and how less is more in that modality. So craniosacral therapy is a modality that brings attention to the cerebral spinal fluid. The cerebral spinal fluid in the body creates the craniosacral therapy rhythm, the craniorhythm. This modality was discovered by a man named Dr. John Upledger, who found that the body has this rhythm throughout our whole body, and so it's different in different areas. And so our rhythm, we want it to be like this. We want a nice amplitude, a nice rate, great symmetry, and great quality in the movement. But what happens is with stress, trauma, drama, injury, whatever it may be, we get a rhythm that could be really fast and short, or really long and short, or different on both sides. So it's interesting too, because the cerebral spinal fluid is produced in the four ventricles in the brain, and when it gets pumped out, it's kind of like the heart valve, where it's like out and then in, and then out and then in. We get this nice, systematic pressure. So even though it has that its own rhythm, the pressure can be, the rate can be different in different areas of the body. So it could be very, very fast near the head, and yet it will also be very slow at the sacrum, the movement of the rhythm, even though the ventricle has its own systematic pressure. This rate is not connected necessarily to these of how fast or slow that they're going to go. So that is determined based on our stress, our drama, our trauma, whatever it is. So we want it to be corrected throughout the whole body. We want the rhythm to be a beautiful, nice arcing of back and forth, symmetry, amplitude, quality, and rate. And so when it gets pumped out, it's coating the whole brain and the spinal cord, and so it's creating this buoyancy so that we have this safety net, this cushion from the brain into the bone. So again, with craniosacral, when we use less pressure, like light pressure on the body, we can feel this rhythm. We can feel it everywhere, and then we can also correct it. Another portion of craniosacral therapy is dealing with the skull specifically. And so the skull is not just one fused bone, it's a whole bunch of sutures and plates that kind of shift and move. And so what we notice is that in a lot of different places in the skull, the rhythm can be different, especially for, say, a football player or somebody who's a boxer, somebody who's gotten a lot of head injuries. They might have different plates or stuck or jammed over each other. And so what a CST practitioner can do is to slightly bring them out and then create them back into alignment, and so that CSF can then go where it hadn't been able to go because there was a barrier. So again, creating this flexibility, this opening, this correct alignment in the skull can create this health where the cerebral spinal fluid can then bring the nutrients throughout the whole body where it hadn't been able to. So also, there's also a mouth work protocol, which I absolutely love doing for people. Not so much these days, obviously, because of COVID, but what's awesome is that we'll get a glove, we'll go in the mouth, and we'll correct the intracranial bones as well. So from doing it from the inside and the outside, a person can walk out a completely different person with no more migraines, no more headaches. Like, lots of different things can be resolved by doing this consistent work of working with the intracranial bones. So again, it's all light pressure too. It's very gentle, very much like energy work, where if you really tried too hard and put too much force, you would be completely missing the boat. You have to back up and be gentle, and then you can feel really clearly of what the body is doing. And that information can then, the practitioner can then take that information and apply it and know what techniques and what protocols to address, so that person can then have that cerebral spinal fluid coat throughout their whole body and be able to have this great rhythm. And it just creates this amazing a feeling, especially after the session. You feel blissed out. Even in the session, you feel like you have been through a trance. It's this beautiful waking and dreaming state sometimes that you can experience when you're really just relaxed in that that frequency. So if you haven't tried craniosacral therapy, I highly suggest having the experience. It's something that you will really appreciate because it's not unlike any other modalities that there are out there. There's a large difference between receiving a Reiki treatment and receiving a craniosacral treatment. It brings you into a different state. And the craniosacral I really love because the techniques are so advanced and being able to really go into the core of the body and be able to figure out how to correct it. Combining Reiki with it is also beautiful too, because you can clear out some things and then shift them into an even more proper alignment. So if you have any questions about craniosacral, please don't hesitate to ask me. It's one of my joys in life to be able to offer this to people. It helps a slew of things. I mean, the list is very long of what it can help to treat. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd love to assist you in that way.